I think they're in a good place right now overall, assuming the Jaylen thing isn't real, and it's really just let's keep him from himself here. We talked about it a little bit, but is there any level of concern you guys here? And again, I guess tomorrow we'll see, but he's out through this weekend and is being reevaluated tomorrow. Who's got bad vibes here?
Should we do panic meter? Can we do panic meter, Joe?
Do we have
to? We have it. We might as well use
Throw it up.
Put it up. I think it's important. This is
okay.
This is so outdated, this panic meter.
Why?
Yeah, it
is. Bobby's in the least panicked.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm like a cup of water. I'm so calm. You know, like,
John used to be,
I can't believe we're still full using that panic meter.
Bobby used
to
be calm, and now he's literally like he can't help. It doesn't matter what it is. He's very,
Captain Chaos.
Yeah, he's very nervous. He's petrified, actually.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with Bobby then? Bobby, how nervous are you about this?
Well, I want to throw it to John because John usually has the most medical insight here.
To me, I have no medical insight.
John is like when I hear mad scientists.
Look.
To me, when I hear bone bruise, it sounds pretty bad. I think of guys missing.
Noah's had one.
3-4
She's
weeks.
already told you about it.
I know. I hate that I keep bringing up my injuries that I suffered playing AAU basketball.
Jimmy won't let me do that.
I know, but it's just like that's my only reference point. I don't know anything about like medical things.
So. Yeah, my cousin had the same thing actually.
I know.
How long did it take
too much?
But
I've already been doing it too much.
Get the nails in the same way.
How long did it take to heal, Noah?
It took a while. It took like 6 weeks probably.
I think bone bruises take a while to heal.
Yeah, it takes a while, but also he suffered it a while ago. Like this has been going on for 5 or 6 weeks, so he might have reinstigated it in that. I think it was the Oklahoma City game,
the
like
Thunder game with the dunk.
Yeah, so he might have reinstigated it, but he's. I view the rest is more. Is that not right?
Is that the word?
I don't think that's the word, but it's fine.
Re-aggravated it.
Re-aggravated.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I wasn't, and I said it like 4 times, so it was worth calling out.
I let it go the first couple times.
No,
I was like, wow, I'm an idiot.
I don't even know. I can believe it,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think ultimately, like, I would be very surprised if it keeps him out of playing any playoff games. I think they're resting him right now because literally, like, it's exacerbated by pounding, right? So why play if you're going to exacerbate the bruise? I just don't know where he is in his timeline. If like the clock reset, how bad it is. An MRI is what found it. I'm sure we'll get more information earlier next week. I will say.
Are you sure?
I think that's the first. Probably.
Maybe from him.
Here's what I'll say though. Is that the first email injury since Porzingis's like weird leg thing that he suffered in the finals? Because we got an email for this one, which made me.
Which I don't know why. We got an email for this, and not the owner, the damn team being sold.
Well, I don't know what the PR regimen is.
But I don't. That's the thing is like it's either weird, like it's really weird to be like a guy's out couple of games with like a day-to-day injury. To send something out is like made me a teeny bit nervous. Of like
that's what made me a little nervous.
Are they pumping?
Are they setting the table for something?
Are they setting the table for something bigger? Because I didn't like that it was like that. It's guys.
I still don't understand why he was out and then came back.
Get an email on Holiday's shoulder. He was.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't get a mouth finger email. We didn't get a Porzingis illness email. Maybe it's PR just being like we want to be more like communicative or whatever. But it just weird. That was the one thing where I was like, either it's just like a communication change and then it doesn't need to be too.
I don't
discussed,
think so.
But it's also possible that there is something to it. This has been bothering him again since mid-February. It's kind of a long time, and it's a knee, and a knee just throws everything off. So that's why I've been saying this even when he was playing. Like that is my biggest concern with this team going into the postseason is whatever he's dealing with, because he is so important to what they do on both ends. And him being compromised, he's just a player that relies on his explosiveness, defensively, offensively. You don't want him to be dealing with a knee thing going into the postseason. Like that's just not a good start, especially because you know it's going to be a long one. You know you're going to you're going to be in a lot of battles, all these different things. So maybe they're just being really precautionary right now, and he'll come back in a week and be at 95% because the bruise is mostly healed. In the scheme of things, a bone bruise I don't think should be like the worst case. It could have been like a tear or something more. But
clean tear.
I don't think there's something.
No, you can't.
I don't think there's something serious.
Why?
You just can't say it. You can't see
Why?
because you
Yeah,
can't.
but it already happened. I'm not jinxing him.
Oh, whoa! We don't know. We don't want anything to happen.
I don't think. Again, he missed that Friday game, and that was after the Thunder one, where the re-aggravation might have happened.
I have a question after Bobby's.
And then he came back the next day, and to me, the bone bruise is adding a layer to it and saying, all right, he's going to miss some time here, and here's why. The posterior, whatever that he's been on the list forever with, which is just
so many made up injuries.
It's so that a guy can sit out
posterior
and rest.
knee impingement is literally just 3 words they threw together.
Wait, you don't think that's what he has?
I just threw darts. All right, what's his injury?
Yeah,
It's just something they
posterior
can say as a reason for why he's out.
it's Felger's
knee.
draft board.
Yeah, exactly.
Tendinopathy. Tatum's got tendinopathy, but the bone bruise, I think, is something that can allow him to miss significant time here. And obviously he has it, right? But he's going to miss the only thing now here. And so you can go around at the end of the season and just be like, oh, he was hurt. He would have made it. And so I think that's probably why he was pushing. I think that's why he was pushing back from it on Saturday. Because again, you're not looking right. You're not feeling right, obviously, going back a while. But I keep going back to that quote he said on Wednesday, Noah, where he looked worse than he'd ever looked before and was like, oh, I feel fine. I've never felt better. This is the best I've felt in weeks after that Thunder game. And then, he misses the first half of the back-to-back, but he's right back out there against the Nets. And it's like, oh, and then he goes down with the back spasms there. So I'm not concerned about the seriousness of it here. I think this is just an unfortunate situation where he needs to get right badly for the team. And it's going to force him to miss all NBA, which is a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah, he would have missed it anyway. But
so that's my conspiracy theory. You guys,
the Celtics did it to avoid the embarrassment.
I don't even know if it's an embarrassment. I don't know if embarrassment is the word, but perhaps his value takes a hit if he misses. Like his perceived value across the league may take a hit if he's not voted onto one of those teams, as opposed to not qualifying and therefore not being able to be voted for. What would happen if he, did play enough games? Maybe he does get the votes. Maybe he is good enough. Maybe you can make that comparison. So there might be a little of both, John. It might be 1, avoid the embarrassment. It might be 2. Well, of course, Jaylen Brown's all NBA player. He just, had a couple injuries this year that just made him ineligible to qualify to make those teams.
It's again, we'll see.
When these announcements come out, like the Jaylen Brown one, who gives the okay on that? Is that something that the team can just go out and not make any announcement they want about a player's personal, health or whatever? I feel like the player has to sign off on all those things. So there could be a lot of players. Maybe this is why the Celtics don't do a lot of them. Could be a lot of players that maybe, you know what? I'd rather it not be out there. I want to keep it, between us. I don't want people asking me about this or that or the other thing. It's just day to day.
I think that's exactly what this
maybe
is.
This is I can do a little bit of reporting here when I join the road trip and learn about the process.
That would be great.
Why we sometimes get more.
That would be good.
Because I wonder if the player just says, "Yeah, you know what? Put that out. I want you to."
That's exactly how it works for me because it's medical.
So maybe
there you go then. So we're all wondering why,
because it's more severe, but because Jaylen's cool with it being out there.
Each team is different. I don't know the Celtics process. I do know, for example, in having talked to the Patriots players over the years, especially after they were done playing in Foxborough, they used to get really upset by the lack of transparency from the team, because they would just show up on injury reports with something that just said knee probable, and then they wouldn't play, and everyone would be like, what's going on? And the reality was they had like arthroscopic surgery, and the team didn't announce it because they didn't want to tell anybody, and they were out 4 to 6 weeks, but they kept popping on each week in the report, and then fans would get really mad, and they're like, how long is it going to take for this guy with this minor injury to get back? And people started
think of Porzingis too a couple of weeks ago, and
Porzingis himself was like, I didn't like where the narrative was going, so I put my own thing out there. So you do wonder in this case why that was said, or so there's probably a lot of different reasons why. I do wonder how much the players do get involved in it. And sometimes there's definitely just the team feels the need to spin something, or the inquiries are going, or they want to quell something and they just put it out there because they're like, here's what's actually happening here. But it was curious, because if it was a day-to-day thing, you wouldn't have gotten, that alert about it, and that he'll be evaluated again Monday. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I'm
there
guessing
is also
he misses
unfortunately the history of them saying, "Oh, he's hurt.
They're really bad at this.
It'll be fine." And then all of a sudden, a week later, it's like done for the year. So I get why you'd be nervous about that, but I don't think that's the case there.
They're really bad at this. But here's the thing. If it is something that is not great, but it's not structural, and you're just dealing with, as Noah said, bone bruise, which is painful and is exacerbated by constantly playing on it and feeling it and making it worse and making it more uncomfortable. If he were, in fact, to miss every game the rest of the year, plus what he's already missed here, you're looking at basically 4.5 weeks of rest, which is substantial at this point. So if it were a multi-week thing, that time exists right now. You'd love to get him back before the playoffs, but you'd rather him play pain-free. You could even consider, if it was something that needed 6 weeks, let's get through the first round without him. And you can, and it's fine. So again, they have that luxury, and they did it without Porzingis, and they can absolutely advance to at least round 2. Yep.
Then you got to reintroduce them and find the chemistry and the rhythm and all that again too, which I do think is important for them, because there's so many guys who've been in and out of the lineup and stuff this year, and so little.
There's
time
no
for the
chemistry
starters together.
What? I'm just kidding. It is what it is. They'll be fine. Like I said, I'm not worried about it. They're pros at this point. This isn't like a new team. They know how to play together. I'm not super worried about chemistry.
Yep.
Yeah. The health is more important here. No one's sneaking a vegan brownie by me, I'll tell you that.
Okay, you know what, John? We're going to do it.
You have to feel that way too, Bobby.
I have to feel that way. Let's fly out over and make Luke your first center.
Bobby, we gave you Luke an hour early. We're not going to end this on a damn conversation about Luke